All right, so I've been distracted a few times trying to make this video. We're going to try to get this out there because there's something, I like to record these for myself. I love to save memories of how God speaks and how he works and moves in my life, to remind myself and to put it out there so that in generations, when people want to look back, I mean, we've got media, we might as well use it, right? So I know that when my nanny passed away, she was like the grounded Christian in my life, and it broke my heart that there was things I wanted to learn from her that I wasn't able to. And funny enough, as I'm making this video, I don't know if you guys have seen the post that I've talked about where on the day of her funeral they had released ladybugs in West Virginia. It was crazy. I don't know where they released them at, but we were in West Virginia and we were literally covered in ladybugs the day of her funeral, and it was just the craziest thing to see that many ladybugs, and then literally we were just like knocking them off of us, like, oh my goodness. Anyways, there's been several important times in my life when I'm struggling with something, or even in a moment of joy, or if I'm stepping out in faith to do something, like at Sisterly when I was going to speak and I bowed down to the floor to pray, got away from everybody, and there was a ladybug. Being in a church when I was praying over some really hard things that were going on in Tyler's life, and sitting in a church and this ladybug just flies down and lands on my Bible. And as I'm talking right now and getting ready to share another God wink with you, I look over and I'm gonna turn my camera around. Do not look at how dirty my porch is, but look right there, what is hanging out with me as I say this. And it caught my attention as I was just talking. So I wanted to share that with you all before I get started. But what I really wanted to share with you all today is another way that God speaks and just shows you that he's with you, that encourages my faith. And I want to encourage you all to look for these things in your life as well. I was away this weekend. Like typically on the KYAG weekend, I take it as a retreat and I go and I stay in a hotel somewhere and I just really press in with the Lord. And then go to the retreat, go back to the hotel, and I get this weekend where I just get to be with the Lord and be around other women who are worshiping and praying and seeking after God. And so this year was going to look a little bit different, and in fact I almost didn't go. Every year for the last like 3 or 4 years I've almost not went, and I've went and I've never regretted it. And that's what convinced me to end up going this time, is because I was like, Tara, every time you go and you make this time and you set it aside for the Lord, he meets you in it. And so the very first day, I got there a little bit early, and there's a park around the corner, Wellington Park in Lexington, Kentucky. And so I get there a little bit early and I go to the park to walk. I really wish I would have taken a picture. You all know I love to take pictures and document a lot of the things. And for whatever reason I didn't, but I was just dumbfounded as I finished my walk and was getting ready to head. I prayed the entire time I was walking, and I actually wrote in my journal. Before I got there, I started writing, and I was like, today's the first day of the KYAG Women's Retreat. I'm not staying in a hotel. And I kind of went through the thing, and I said, but God seems to always speak to me here, and that said I'm going to go. And so I said I'm going to start by walking and praying and making the most of this, because normally I get to the hotel early and I start reading and praying and asking God to speak. And so I walked and I done this, and really my heart was to be praying over the salvation of my children, to be praying over revival, and be praying over the youth group in my church, for joy, because there's a lot of grief in the world. And so these are the things that I'm praying about, and I'm walking, and as I finished walking and I'm starting to head towards my car's literally in view, and I look up at the sky, and for whatever reason I just like freeze, and I'm staring, and I'm like, what? There's these huge white clouds, like big, like the beautiful big white clouds everywhere. And then right in the middle, there's this little tiny gray cloud, like a rain cloud. And I just stood there captivated for a moment, and I thought, God, this means something, but I don't know what it means. And I'm just staring at it. Any other time I would have thought to take a picture, but instead I go back to my car and I put in my book here, I wrote, prayed, walked. I saw a small gray cloud in the sky full of big white fluffy clouds. And then I read Psalm 18. For some reason I felt led to read Psalm 18, and I should have read that before I made this post to see if any of this connects together. But anyways, maybe it's for you. Go read Psalm 18. We get to, so I get in the car, I drive to the revival, I go in there, and the very first song starts to play, and it's a song I'd never heard before. And so I'm just kind of looking at the lyrics and I'm singing along. Didn't recognize it, didn't know it, but we're getting into it. And then all of a sudden it says, I see a cloud heavy with rain, and it looks like revival is headed our way. It goes on to repeat, I see a cloud heavy with rain, and it looks like salvation is headed our way. I see a cloud heavy with rain, and it looks like joy is headed our way. All of these things that I'm praying about as I'm walking at the park prior to getting there, and then seeing this gray rain cloud in the sky, and like, Lord, I know this means something, but I don't know what. And then I get in there, and the very first song, and it's just this confirmation that God hears and he sees, he knows in advance where you're going to be and what's going to happen there, and he has a way to minister and speak to you through every circumstance that you're in. There was a lyric in that song also that it took a few times hearing it before I was like, yes, that's it. Because a lot of the things that I'm praying for, the salvations, for the issues that I see going on in the world, for the things that are coming against the church or the youth group or the kids or whatever, these things that I'm praying about that are sucking away our joy or that are keeping people from salvation or that I feel like is holding revival back. All of these things boil down to this discouragement and like a mountain of unbelief or whatever circumstances are coming against that are making things hard. And there's a lyric in this song that says, tell this giant in my face, you're not greater than my faith. And my tendency is to see this right here, discouragement, to see right here, to see the impossible, to see right here all of the things that are stopping the thing that I'm praying for from happening. And this lyric is saying, tell that giant in my face, you're not greater than my faith. So I can see past it, and I can see that God put a cloud in the sky, this little gray cloud in the midst of these huge, big, cotton, like huge white clouds. This tiny gray cloud caught my attention for him to be able to speak into me what he wanted to say. And hey, this giant that's in your face, this thing that you feel like is stopping all of the other stuff, that's blocking all of the other stuff, right? The revival, the joy, the salvation, the provision, whatever it is that I know is necessary to make the next thing happen in God's time. He's telling me like, hey, I've got this, and I'm showing you that I went ahead of you. I am before you. I am in control of every single situation. So tell that giant in your face to get out of your way, because it's not bigger, it's not greater than your faith. So I hope this speaks to you all. I hope this encourages you all to tell that giant in your face that it's not greater than your faith. But also I hope that it encourages you to look around your circumstances, to pause and reflect and invite God in and say, hey, is there anything you want to say to me? Is there anything that you're doing today? Is there any way you just want to show me that you're with me today? Be open and be vulnerable, and take those moments to just allow God to speak to you and listen. Y'all have a great day. Love you.